Hey guys, welcome back to J and H in the comic Wasteland. This is actually continuing, or a continuance of episode 5.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a twofer today, Archie and Generation Zero from Valiant. So here you go, J and H in the comic Wasteland. Jay's going to be taking us more or less about what Generation Zero is about. We're going to be talking about like how exactly what it is, Harbinger and other things. So Jay, if you please.
So we were first introduced to these kids, I believe it was in Harbinger and in Bloodshot, that these kids they showed the potential to have psychic related superpowers, and they were basically being tortured by the government, a government program called Project Rising Spirit. So now it got to the point where these three factions, it was Bloodshot on one side, you had Peter Stanchek and his renegades on the other side, and then you had Toyo Harada on the third side. They were all vying for these kids who escaped, along with the government. Sorry, so technically there was 4 sides. In Harbinger Wars, half the kids end up with Bloodshot, and then the other half end up taking over this like Vegas casino or hotel or something. And Peter Stanchek has a vision from like the Bleeding Monk, who is like his spirit guide in the issues of Harbinger, and he tells him, you got to help these kids. Can't tell you why, but you got to help them. Okay, so the government calls in Hardcore. Hardcore are like these army dudes who have like stuff in their brains where they can download superpowers into their brains.
On the go.
Yeah, on the go, which is like, it's crazy if you think about it, but like these guys had like all these different side effects because of it. Like one guy had brain cancer, the other guy was like
crazy.
Yeah, he was insane out of his mind, thinking he was God. And
yeah. So
when all these forces collide at this in Vegas,
the Bellagio,
it does not go well at all. Bloodshot ends up taking out Peter Stanchek by breaking his jaw. At one point, he almost killed Harada. Half of the kids get away. Half of them end up going with Harada. Mayhem fucking ensued, if there was ever a way to perfectly explain it.
Hence, Harbinger Wars.
Yeah, okay. We pick up with the kids again in the Harbinger issues of the Armor Hunters crossover, where I believe it's Cronus, who's Christian, our leader of the group. He's the oldest, so he's like the de facto leader. His powers is that he can heal, but he can also use it to destroy, which I thought was pretty cool. There's a girl named Tara. She's they refer to her as the Telic. And she could basically, she sees like the energy waveforms of the world, and she can make predictions based on them. It's a really, visually, it's a really interesting power.
Yeah.
I mean, it basically just boils down to she can predict the future, but it's just the way they do it is original compared to a lot of other comics.
Yeah, she sees kind of like energy based, and she sees like everything closing in on them. She can see it.
Right. Then we have the twins, the Zygote twins.
The Zygote twins.
That they have a ridiculous level of separation anxiety when they're apart.
Yeah.
But when they're together, they become like Einstein level geniuses, and they could process information the way like no one else can, and then make leaps and bounds of knowledge that's not even discerned yet.
Exactly.
Okay. Then we have Ian is a character named Ramsey, and that he has like light manipulation powers, so he can like direct the flow of light. He can reflect light away from things to make them invisible. Again, visually, it's kind of cool. It's nothing you haven't seen before. It's just the way they're doing it is what makes it interesting to me. The one character who stood out to me though is 9-year-old Baxter. They call him the Titan, and you would never, Titans are usually, in mythology, these towering, strong figures. Baxter has this power where his nightmares become real, and again,
a monster.
Right. So some comics have done something similar, but the way the thing that this kid dreams of is
outrageous.
Yeah, outrageous. Like you have 900-foot tall dragons and stuff like that, and during Armor Hunters. The part of Mexico, I think they're in, that became infected with one of the Armor Hunters, like these aliens or whatever. He creates this dragon, beast-looking thing that just eats these creatures, and it's like, again, visually, it's very cool because you never know what's going to come out of this kid's head.
Exactly.
So then we pick up now with I forgot they end up meeting Torque and Faith from Peter Stanchek's crew,
the Renegades.
Yes, from the Renegades, and they actually join forces, and at this point, Torque and Faith are like government-sponsored superheroes, and they're helping the kids, and in the end, the kids still end up striking out on their own. I think it ends with Christian and Tara like on a mountain, on a hill, just looking over, talking about like how the world is theirs to explore, and
Yeah.
they're truly on their own now. So we pick up with Generation Zero, number 1, okay, starring these kids from the previous story arcs, and for the most part, we don't even see the group until towards the end of the
pretty
issue.
much.
So this girl Keisha, that she's trying to contact Generation Zero. Generation Zero is kind of like that urban myth that like no one really knows exists or not.
Right, that you can only get to them through like a weird, like
Kind of like
instant channel.
Yeah, kind of like kind of like a IRC channel that's only like
Pretty much.
specific.
A very specific channel.
Right. Or you can follow like the Zeros hashtag or whatever, because
Hashtags, yeah.
So she lives in this town. I think it's in Michigan. I think. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this town has been able to turn things around like no other town has ever done before. Like now, this town has gone from being one of the worst in the United States to being like one of the most prosperous cities on the planet.
Yeah.
Like,
they even made like school fun. Everything's high tech.
Yeah, like all the classrooms have VR technology.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's outrageous. But obviously this Generation Zero, so being the myth they are, they supposedly they help people, and
they're kind of like the A-Team. It's like,
right. You plead your case in a video form,
and they'll put you in a queue.
Right, and they put you in a queue, and if they deem you worth helping, then they'll reach out to you. But you have to like be very secretive about it. You have to destroy your computer, and you can't tell anybody. It's weird.
Like they'll find you. It's
but,
so
yeah.
Keisha's boyfriend ends up dead. Okay.
Right.
And she suspects foul play, even though there isn't a lot of evidence to support that. It's just her gut feeling that my boyfriend wouldn't do this, and I know him so well. And then it sounds like other teenagers have gone missing too.
Yeah. It's a conspiracy. Like, there's something going on.
And she's the only one who picks up on it.
Right. Ironically, her boyfriend Steven leaves her or mails her
a mixed CD, right?
A mixed CD, but it's just him talking, telling her exactly what he was gonna do. And then in case he doesn't make it back, then he would be like, she would get it and she would listen to it and maybe try to piece what happened. But
I thought it was interesting that like the girl who never talks to Keisha like ends up inviting her to this party.
Right.
That's in honor of Steven. It's basically like
it's a pity party.
Yeah, your typical teenage kegger, just an excuse to get drunk and But then she runs into these kids that like no one knows, and they don't know that Keisha's dad's the sheriff, and so she explains it to him. And one of the other interesting characters in Generation Zero, Monica, right? Animalia. I really like the way that they show her power because
very cartoony.
Yeah, because as someone who's like 12 years old, who's spent their entire life in a government facility, she only knows the outside world through educational programs and stuff. And her only interaction with animals are like those wheels that we have as a kid, when you pull the string and it says, the cow says moo, or,
exactly, yeah.
Right? So that's how she pictures the world's animals. That's all she knows. So when she uses her powers to like turn into these animals, they always look like in Harbinger Wars there was a cartoon lion, there was a cartoon looking pterodactyl, right?
Yeah, it's very cartoony. But it's cool though, right? Because the way they're writing these characters, they're very like engaging and very like grounded and normal. Well, not normal, but they seem
that's the thing,
relatable.
Right, exactly.
Relatable.
They do for teenagers who spent the majority of their lives in a government facility. They do just want to be normal kids.
Yeah,
they want to do the things normal kids do, but they realize that they are burdened with. To quote Loki, they're burdened with glorious purpose. It's like that they have to use their powers to change the world and things like that.
I mean, the way they're going about it, it's very interesting, right? Like they let you plead your case and maybe they'll help you, but it's just like on a strange basis to do so. So
no, it's funny because it's like if they deem you worthy because. It's like they could choose not to help you.
Exactly. Be like, fuck it. But then that's not the only thing, right? So the main character, Keisha, her brother is autistic.
See, I was thinking, I was going to bring that up, where it's like, I think it's implied that he might have powers.
Yeah, right. Like there's something going on, and he's drawing like these weird. I mean, what do you call it? Prisms,
like spiral graphs. Yeah.
Yeah, something like which is very interesting to do by hand, to be honest. Like very precise. But
exactly. You need to be right.
But chances are he probably has power, so whatever, however the story takes place, it'll be probably revolving around him a lot as well. So
we close with these like masked men trying to hunt down Keisha. It was shooting at first with what kind of looked like a tampon gun.
Yeah.
But
they cut and
I mean, whatever it is, it actually manages to hurt Keisha because we see her bleeding at one point, and like right before she's about to pass out, Christian, Monica, Tara, and the Zygote twins show up to help her.
Yeah.
So for our first issue, I thought this was a great first impression. I mean, even if you weren't aware of Gen Zero's previous exploits, I mean,
it's a good place to start.
Right, it's a good place to start. It's a good jumping on point. It doesn't, leave you confused or anything like that.
No.
I'm interested in seeing where number 2 goes. I mean,
yeah, same here, man. Like,
there's a lot that can happen. It can go in different directions.
Right. The fact they're doing through Keisha Sherman's eyes, like right. it gives like more an easier way to follow because she, as far as we're concerned, like she doesn't have any powers. She's just trying to like figure shit out why her boyfriend like disappeared, we're gonna see it through her. She's very, what's the word? Not enlightened, but more. Like she sees through the bullshit. Like right. she sees like when people are two-faced or when people are not being honest, and she she's a realist. That's the word. She's a realist. So it's good to see it through her eyes because obviously we want to see something we can someone we can relate to. So I think I'm excited to see like what happens in issue 2.
Yeah, I mean for like I said for a number 1, this has got to be one of Valiant's better number 1s in recent. This is part of Valiant's initiative where they're going to have a whole bunch of number 1s coming out over the next few months. And again, I've been waiting for this book for months now. I think last time we saw it, Gen Zero was like maybe 2014 or 2015. So it's been
a while.
It's been almost a year and change, right? But yeah, definitely. I really would like to see where some of the other characters are. I think in one of the back pages of the issue, they show Baxter there. So maybe Baxter's just not with them on this particular mission. But the other 2 characters were the Hive and the Traveler.
Yeah.
In Harbinger Wars, where the Traveler is able to teleport again through a pocket dimension, which is something we've seen like with Nightcrawler and stuff like that. But it's implied that when he does that, he's jumping into like the dead realm that we see like in Shadow Man.
Yeah.
And then with the Hive is this kid. I think he's only like 16 or 17 years old. And he's basically got multiple personality disorder because his abilities that he can, when he touches dead people, he absorbs like their last few moments into his head.
Yeah.
And they stay there with him.
Right.
So he has all these different, people's like dying moments stuck in his head, and it's him struggling to keep control of himself. And the characters like that, again, characters like these, aren't necessarily new to the comic genre. It's just we haven't seen them portrayed this way before.
Right. Exactly. So. I guess that's what like attracts us the most. Right. So that's what we deemed it like we should, we wanted to do this episode about it because we figured it'd be like
we had to spread the word.
Exactly, it'd be worthwhile. Yeah. But any lasting thoughts?
No, just like I said, I would definitely recommend this book if you guys are gonna check out any new number 1 this week or next week. Definitely give Gen Zero a try. You won't regret it.
Yeah, now would be the time, guys. Anyways, so this is episode 5. Next time we're going to be doing
Saga.
Yes, we are. Goddamn
Image
Saga.
guys, Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples.
Yeah, so thank you for sticking with us. This is J&H in the Comic Wasteland. Hopefully, if you want to see anything else, of course, always tell us, let us know. We're very approachable, so
all feedback welcome, guys.
Yes, glad you're sticking with us, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys. Hey guys, tune in next week as we review Saga from Brian K. Vaughan, Fiona Staples, and Image Comics. See you then.